Devaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Nārayaṇam Namaskrityam
Nārāyaṇam Namaskrityam
Naranjaiva Narottamam
Naranjaiva Narottamam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Tato Jayamudiraye
Tato Jayamudiraye
Ashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu
Ashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Bhagavate Uttama Sloke
Bhagavate Uttama Shloke
Bhaktin Bhavadir Naistiki
Bhaktin Bhavati Naistiti
Krishnaya Vasudevaya
Krishnaya Vasudevaya
Devagi Nandanaya Cha
Devaki Nandanaya Cha
Nandagopa Kumaraya
Nandagopa Kumaraya
Govindaya Namo Namaha.
Govindaya Namo Namaha.
Hare Krishna. Welcome all the devotees for the morning Srimad Bhagavatam discussion. Today we are going to discuss Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 5, text number 17. 2, 5, 17. Please repeat the sloka behind me. Tasyapi draṣṭur īśasya.
Tasyapi draṣṭur īśasya.
Kūṭa-sthasya akhila-ātmanaḥ.
kūṭa-sthasyakhilātmanaḥ.
akhila-ātmanaḥ.
sṛjyaṁ sṛjāmi aham.
sṛjyaṁ sṛjāmi sṛṣṭo.
aham.
īkṣayaivābhicoditaḥ.
īkṣayaivābhicoditaḥ.
Word by word meaning, please repeat behind me. Tasya.
tasya.
Tasya. His.
Api.
Api.
Certainly.
Certainly.
Draṣṭuḥ.
draṣṭuḥ.
Of the seer.
of the
Of the
seer.
seer.
īśasya.
īśasya.
Of the controller.
Of the controller.
kūṭa-sthasya.
kūṭa-sthasya.
Of the one
Of the one
who is over everyone's intelligence.
Who is
who is
over
over everyone's intelligence.
akhila-ātmanaḥ.
Akhila-ātmanaḥ.
Of the Supersoul.
of the Supersoul.
sṛjyaṁ.
sṛjyaṁ.
That which
is
already created.
already created.
sṛjāmi.
sṛjyam.
Do I discover.
Do I discover.
sṛṣṭaḥ.
sṛṣṭaḥ.
Created.
created.
aham.
aham.
Myself.
myself.
īkṣayā.
īkṣayā.
By glance over.
by glance.
eva.
eva.
Exactly.
exactly.
abhicoditaḥ.
abhicoditaḥ.
Being inspired by him.
being inspired by.
Translation. Purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charana Vindayasi Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Please repeat behind me. Inspired by him only,
Inspired by him only,
I discover
I discover
what is already created by him.
what is already created by him.
Nārāyaṇa.
Nārāyaṇa.
Under his vision,
Under his vision,
as the all-pervading Supersoul,
as the all-pervading Supersoul,
and I also
and I also
am created by him only.
am created by him only.
Purport. Even Brahma, the creator of the universe, admits that he is not the actual creator, but is simply inspired by the Lord Nārāyaṇa and therefore creates under his superintendence those things already created by him. The supersoul of all living entities. Two identities of soul, the supersoul and the individual soul, are admitted to be in the living entity, even by the greatest authority of the universe. The Supersoul is the Supreme Lord, the Personality of Godhead, whereas The individual soul is the eternal servitor of the Lord. The Lord inspires the individual soul to create what is already created by the Lord. And by the goodwill of the Lord, a discoverer of something in the world is accredited as the discoverer. It is said that Columbus discovered the Western Hemisphere, but actually the tract of land was not created by Columbus. The vast tract of land was already there by the omnipotency of the Supreme Lord, and Columbus, by dint of his past service unto the Lord, was blessed with the credit of discovering America. Similarly, no one can create anything without the sanction of the Lord, since everyone sees according to his ability. This ability is also awarded by the Lord according to one's willingness to render service unto the Lord. One must therefore be voluntarily willing to render service unto the Lord, and thus the Lord will empower the doer in proportion to his surrender unto the lotus feet of the Lord. Lord Brahma is the great devotee of the Lord, therefore he has been empowered or inspired by the Lord to create such a universe as the one manifested before us. The Lord also inspired Arjuna to fight in the field of Kurukshetra as follows. Tasmastvam udista yeso lobhaksya jitva shatrun mungshva rajyam samrudham mayaivaite nihataha purvam yeva nimittamatram bhava swasyasya. The battle, this is from Bhagavad Gita 11.33. The meaning is the battle of Kurukshetra or any other battle at any place or at any time is made by the will of the Lord. For no one can arrange such mass annihilation without the sanction of the Lord. The party of Duryodhana insulted Draupadi, a great devotee of Krishna, and she appealed to the Lord as well as to all the silent observers of this unwarranted insult. Arjuna was then advised by the Lord to fight and take credit. Otherwise, the party of Duryodhana would be killed anyway by the will of the Lord. So, Arjuna was advised just to become an agent and take the credit for killing great generals like Bhishma and Karna. In the Vedic writings, such as Katha Upanishad, the Lord is described as the Sarvabhuta Antaratma, or the personality of Godhead, who resides in everyone's body and who directs everything for one who is a soul surrender unto him. Those who are not surrendered souls are put under the care of material nature. Brahmayan sarvabhutani yantrarudani mayaya. Therefore, they are allowed to do things on their own account and suffer the consequences themselves. Devotees like Brahma and Arjuna do not do anything on their own account, but as fully surrendered souls, they always await indications from the Lord. Therefore, they attempt to do something which appears very wonderful to ordinary vision. One of the Lord's name is Urukrama, or one whose actions are very wonderful and are beyond the imaginations of living beings. So the action of his devotees sometimes appear very wonderful due to the direction of the Lord, beginning from Brahma, the topmost intelligent living entity within the universe, down to the smallest ant. Every living entity's intelligence is overseen by the Lord in his transcendental position as the witness of all actions. The subtle presence of the Lord is felt by the intelligent man who can study the physics, psychic effect of thinking, feeling, and willing. From Dasa. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam-yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna-prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti-vedanta Swami iti namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharani Nirvishesha Shunyabad Pashasha Deshatarani Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So before starting the today's sloka, so today is a very auspicious day. It is a Bhadra Purnima day. So in the scriptures, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, the Bhadra Purnima day, it is very Bhadra Purnima day. Why we are celebrating this auspicious day? Because the Srimad Bhagavatam appeared in this very day. So that is the reason it is very auspicious day. Srimad Bhagavatam is one of the topmost literature. So that in the particular day, in the Bhadra Purnima day, particular day, if a person gifting a Srimad Bhagavatam to others, anybody else, so that he will get the credit that he will go back to the Godhead. That's the credit he will get. So he will get the liberation. So that's what the scriptures are saying, especially in the Srimad Bhagavatam 12.13.13. So here it is said that Draṣṭapatyam purur paurnamasyam hema simha samanvitam tadadiyo bhagavatam sayati paramam gatim. So here what Sukadeva Goswami is saying, if on the full moon day of the month of Bhadra, one places Srimad Bhagavatam on a golden throne and gives it as a gift, he will attain the supreme transcendental destination. So this is the verdict of the scriptures, and this is so because the Srimad Bhagavatam is the literary incarnation of the Supreme Lord. So the Supreme Lord incarnated, he can incarnate at any varieties. There are many varieties. He can incarnate as a human being, he can incarnate as a demigod, he can incarnate as a other living entities. Like that, Srimad Bhagavatam is a literary incarnation of the Supreme Lord. So we are told there are 12 cantos in the Srimad Bhagavatam. All the 12 cantos are starting from his lotus feet and till up to the head, the Lord's head. It is considered, each canto is considered each and part of the body of the Lord. So there is no difference between Srimad Bhagavatam and the Supreme Lord. Suppose if you want to study the medical science or the lawyer or engineer, any department, if you wanted to expert in that, what we will do? We will join that particular college. We will ask our children to join the particular college. So the teacher, they will teach the specific teachings. Okay, as far as a medical science, so they will study the medical books. The teacher teaches the medical books. The books are already there. In the books, everything is there. So the teachers will explain. The student will understand. They will write the exam. They will pass the exam. And after the course, what will happen? He will become a doctor or engineer or an advocate. Something is happening. So similar way, it is not only for this, whatever we discussed till now, this is the material life. If you take the spiritual life, the Srimad Bhagavatam is one of the literary incarnation of the Supreme Lord. So a person who wanted to get into the bhakti, who wanted to get the pure devotional service, what he need to do? The similar way, he need to accept a spiritual master and he need to learn Srimad Bhagavatam. He need to study Srimad Bhagavatam under the guidance of a spiritual master. If he do that, then what will happen at the end of the study? So for the medical science or advocate or engineer, we have a specific period. For medical science 5 years, engineering 4 years, and advocate 3 years. So these are some time, specific time is there. Within the time he has to complete everything, and he will awarded as a specific field expert. He's a doctor, he's an engineer, he's an advocate, like that he is getting. The similar way, if you are studying the Srimad Bhagavatam, what will happen at the end of the study? We will become a great devotee of the Lord. We will be expert in the bhakti. We will become a great devotee of the Lord. So that is the result we are going to get. We will get when we study the Srimad Bhagavatam. So this is not a very ordinary book. There are so many books written by so many people in the material world with their imagination. So this is not an imagination. This Srimad Bhagavatam, whatever written by the Vyasadeva, this is not an imagination of someone. This is all, whatever it has happened, because Srila Vyasadeva also, he is also the incarnation of the Supreme Lord. He himself took the avatar of Vyasadeva and he wrote all these scriptures for the future generation. Yes, till before Kali Yuga, all this knowledge, Srimad Bhagavatam or the Bhagavad Gita or all the other knowledge, all the other Vedic knowledge, all the Vedas, everything it is coming through the oral reception, through the parampara. The guru, the spiritual master, he used to recite the shlokas, and the disciples they keenly observe that, and they will remember that quickly without any writing here and there. That is the memory power they had till the Dwapara Yuga. So at the end of the Dwapara Yuga onwards, the Kali Yuga, when it is started, that time onwards, the Kali Yuga quality is Manda Buddhi and the Manda Bhagya. So Manda Buddhi, that means less intelligent people. Kali Yuga people are less intelligent. So the Kali Yuga people cannot remember all the Vedic literatures. So that is the reason Vyasadeva gave everything. He compiled all the Vedic literature in the literary form. So he wrote all the Vedic Vedas and also Upanishad, all the Puranas, everything he wrote. At the final stage of, finally, even though he wrote all these Vedas, Upanishad, everything, finally he was not satisfied with that, because he was missing, he felt I'm missing something. I was not happy with that. So he was expressing that to his spiritual master Narada Muni, that I am not fully satisfied with what I wrote till now. All the Vedas, Upanishad, all the Puranas, everything I wrote, but still I'm not satisfied. Then Narada Muni, he told that, okay, you glorified all the Vedas, Puranas, everything, but what is the essence of all the Vedas, Puranas, everything? The essence is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You not enoughly glorified the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. That is the reason you are feeling some emptiness. So if you compiled that, then you will be satisfied. So that is the instruction provided by Narada to Vyasadeva. Then Vyasadeva started writing this compiling this Srimad Bhagavatam. It is not his own imagination. This is whatever the previous, because he was also there in the Dwapara Yuga. So he heard so many, he already knows so many scriptures, he already wrote so many scriptures, and he knows all the pastimes of Krishna in the Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, what are the things that happened, everything he heard. So whatever he heard, everything he wrote compiled as a Srimad Bhagavatam. So the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is full of about Krishna, a glorification of Krishna and his devotees. So there is no difference between Krishna and his pastimes. See, if you wanted to watch a movie, and if you write the story is there in the story form, if you read the story form and watching a movie, maybe some little difference will be there watching a movie and a story form. But by reading the story form, we can imagine what happened in the movie also. The similar way, whatever happened with the Krishna's pastime, everything literary form, it is there. Vastly, it is there. 18,000 slokas are there in Srimad Bhagavatam. It is great literature. It was given by Vyasadeva. So by reading the scriptures, how a person reading a medical science books, he became a doctor. The similar way, by reading Srimad Bhagavatam, it is definite that the person became a great devotee of the Lord. It is bhakti is guaranteed for the person. So it is not, because for medical science, there is a compulsory, you have to go to the college, you have to write the exams. These are the compulsory, it is there. But here, reading the scriptures and hearing from the seniors, these are the austerities we have to follow. Some austerities we have to follow, because it is for optional for us. For our we are thinking that it's optional for us, because we are all grihasthas, we are not able to spend much time to reading the scriptures and progress in understanding the Bhagavatam and all, because we don't have time. So what we have to do, we have to spend some time, we have to take away some time from our regular activities, and we have to get into this book. We have to study this book. It is not just reading. We have to study the Srimad Bhagavatam. There is a difference between reading and study. Study means you will understand everything. Reading means just you are reading, and once you've covered 1 or 2 pages, then you'll forget that whatever you read, and you are just continuously we are reading. So Bhagavatam should not be read, it should be studied. That's what Prabhupada also saying. So once we studied the bhakti, it will sprout from our heart. It is 100% guarantee. We'll become a great devotee of the Lord. That's the great we saw. See, the same Srimad Bhagavatam, Sridhar Goswami, he gave this Srimad Bhagavatam to Parikshit Maharaj. 7 days he has explained this Srimad Bhagavatam. What happened at the end of the 7 days, he got liberated. So there are so many the previous acharyas who explained Srimad Bhagavatam, the person got liberated. So there are many witnesses are there. So the Srimad, that's the reason currently also the Bhagavata Saptaha, it is happening. Why it is happening? Because it is the Bhagavata Saptaha. The reason behind the Bhagavata Saptaha is by hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam, the change would happen in our heart. So after attending the 7 days of the Srimad Bhagavatam discourses, you will feel there is a difference in our heart what before 7 days and after 7 days. If you hear attentively the Bhagavata Saptaha, because it is full of the pastimes of the Lord and about the Lord and how Lord interacted with his devotees, how he incarnated in a different way and he saved the devotees and he blessed the devotees, how he spent time with the devotees. All those things we can understand and we can feel that the presence of the Lord around us. So that is the power of Srimad Bhagavatam. So today is very auspicious day. So if at all is a possible Bhadra Purnima, so please gift to somebody who are who materially not well and or you can give it to some temple also. Yes, and you can gift it to the some devotees and they can give it to the somebody else. So if you gift the Srimad Bhagavatam in the particular day, then the Bhagavatam himself with the Sukadeva Goswami himself saying that he will attain the supreme transcendental destination. So that is guaranteed. That is the very powerful day. It's the Bhadra Purnima. This is a Bhadra month. This month is called Bhadra. So in this Purnima happen, Purnima means the full moon day. So in the full moon day, if one person in the Bhadra Purnima day, if a person gifting this Srimad Bhagavatam to others, he will attain the supreme destination. This is the verdict of the scriptures. Hare Krishna. So we'll come to this today's sloka 2.5.17. So here Brahma, what he is saying, here he is accepting that inspired by the Supreme Lord, he created this material world. So it is not he created, who Brahma created this material world. It is the creation started by the Supreme Lord and is handed over to Brahma. He is a secondary creator. So Brahma is a secondary creator. The first seed-giving father is a Supreme Personality of Godhead. And from Supreme Personality of Godhead navel, Brahma appeared, the lotus flower, Brahma appeared, and from him, he got the knowledge. From the Supreme Lord, he got the knowledge, and Supreme Lord asked him to continue the creation. So the first creator is the Supreme Lord, and he is the secondary creator. So see, Prabhupada is explaining here like how the Columbus discovered America. So Columbus, he was discovered America. The land was there before also. It is not like that Columbus went and he cultivated the land and he prepared everything. He made America. It's not like that. America was there, everything, always there. Why we are remembering Columbus? Yes, he went that direction and he discovered that land, piece of land, which already exists. So the similar way, the creation happened by the by the Brahma. It is already the first creation done by the Supreme Lord. All the living entities, the first created, the seed provided by the Supreme Lord, and the Brahma, he continued that. So that's what here Brahma is saying, that inspired by him only. Who is him? Him in the sense is the Supreme Lord. Inspired by the Supreme Lord, I discover what is already created by him, Nārāyaṇa. So what Nārāyaṇa already created, I discovered that. Under his vision, all-pervading Supersoul, I also created by him only. So he is saying that I am also created by the Supreme Lord. So from this, we can understand that Brahma is not by own creation. He is also a living entity like us, but is empowered by the Supreme Lord. So when the Lord will empower, that when we surrender to the Supreme Lord, then Lord will empower us to do something. So that is, it is now we don't want to go to speak about Brahma, because Brahma is the first living entity in the living being in this material world, and Lord empowered him to do the creative activity. And the similar way, all the acharyas, they are also the empowered people. See, we are not able to do what the acharyas they did. Even though, see, for example, if we take Srila Prabhupada, he is also like as a grahastha. When he was young, he was also a grahastha. He was running a medical store, and he had a family. He has 4 children. He was all this. He has wife. He has a family. He has taken care of his family. All those things. How we did, how we are doing. The similar way he also did. He ran the family. But at the end of his life, after the age of 70, what he did, it was a miracle. Because at the age of 70, he started, and at the age of 81, the 11 years, within 11 years, he spread the Krishna consciousness all over the world, all the countries, all the continents. He traveled with the 11 years, he traveled around the globe. He spread the Krishna consciousness everywhere. He built 108 temples. He made 5,000 disciples within 10 years. He was able to do. Because that is he is the empowered by the Lord, because he is a surrendered to the Supreme Lord. That is the reason he was empowered by the Lord. He was able to do all those things. Even if we spend all of our lifetime, we cannot achieve that, because unless we are surrendered to the Supreme Lord. So surrendering to the Supreme Lord, how to surrender? So surrendering, that is the learning from the Srimad Bhagavatam. What we are learning from the Srimad Bhagavatam, we can understand how to surrender to the Supreme Lord. So that is the reason here in Prabhupada writing over here about the surrender. So Brahma and Arjuna, they are not they didn't do anything of their own. It is because of they are empowered by the Supreme Lord, they become victorious in their work. Brahma is a creator, he is continuing his creation, and Arjuna in the Kurukshetra war, how he became victorious? Yes, initially he was not ready to do the war, but after giving the Bhagavad Gita knowledge, he did in its expert way, and they won the war. The Pandavas won the war. How it happened? Because see, this is the very important the sloka, whatever in this mentioned here. Nimitra matram bhava. That means you just be an instrument. That's what Krishna is saying. You become just an instrument. You become an agent. I will anyway. See, Krishna said to Arjuna, anyway, this Kaurava is going to be killed. So you don't worry for that. If you are not killing, anyway, they are going to kill. Because that is the plan of the Supreme Lord. When there is a dharma decline of dharma is happening, when the dharma is declined, that place the Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita itself. When there is a time dharma is declined, I will come and I will re-establish dharma. That is the verdict of Krishna. So Krishna appeared to re-establish the dharma, because what Duryodhana, he was not following the dharma. Because what he did with Draupadi, he insulted Draupadi like anything in front of the entire Sabha. So because of that, this is not a way of dharma. There is not a dharma to insult a woman. So that is the reason. And also that Draupadi is a devotee of the Supreme Lord. She didn't do any mistakes, but she got insulted. So and also there are so many other things, because the person who is having, if you wanted to cook, if you cook the rice in the open way, if you cook the rice, if you take one piece of rice and you can see that whether the rice is cooked or not. You don't want to press the rice of all the entire pot to understand whether it is cooked or not. What we can say, one piece of rice we can take and we can understand whether it is cooked or not. Similar way, a person's quality can be understood from the one act, from his one act, how he is acted. The similar way, Duryodhana's act, the insult of Draupadi, you can understand how his mind is, and he is not a dharmic person. So Krishna wanted to remove the dharmic adharmic, and he wanted to keep the dharmic person there. That's the reason he wanted to re-establish the dharma there. That's the reason the Kurukshetra war was planned by the Supreme Lord. So here, if the Krishna is saying that Arjuna, you just become an instrument for that, for the war. You don't want to. You will get the credit. That's all. If you are not ready to do that, also anyway they are going to be killed. That's what Krishna said to Arjuna. He wanted to ask him to Nimritta Matram Baba. That's what he asked to Krishna. In a similar way, the creation can be done by Supreme Lord also. But he set up Brahma as a secondary creator. That is, he is also Nimitra Matram Baba. And it is possible to the Supreme Lord, he can spread the knowledge within immediately. Directly he can spread the knowledge. Why he is telling Acharyas? That is, they are also Nimitra Matram Baba. He wanted to show this world how to surrender. So these are all the examples how Brahma surrendered, how Arjuna surrendered, how our Acharya surrendered to Supreme Lord. If you follow the same surrender to the Supreme Lord, we will also successfully victorious in our life. What is victorious? Our victorious is not coming to this material world again to get the liberation and go back to Godhead. That is our goal of life. Our goal of life should be, for all the human beings, our goal of life is equal. It is not that one person, I become a doctor, I become a rich man, I become an engineer. These are not the goals. These are the temporary goals as long as you are living in this material world. Our permanent goal is go back to Godhead, not to come again in this material world, not to take birth again in this material world. That is our permanent goal. So in order to get that permanent goal, what we need to do? We need to surrender to the Supreme Lord. How to surrender? We need to read the scriptures, understand from the bona fide spiritual master, then understand the bhakti, apply that whatever we learned in our life, day-to-day activities, then automatically the surrenderness will come. So this process is lengthy. It is not like a material science, medical science process for 5 years, 7 years. It's not like that. It is according to our interest. We can complete this within 1 year, within 4 years, within 5 years, within lifetime also. It will take lifetime also, according to our how much interestly we are taking this in our life. So today's sloka we discussed the two things we discussed. This is the Bhadra Purnima day, and we discussed about the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam, and we discussed Brahma is revealing that he is the second. He is also created by the Supreme Lord, and he is the secondary creator. Hare Krishna. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki
Jai.